Making miniature versions of Cars characters was actually quite a popular thing to do in 2017 because not only did Mattel launch their Mini Racers line, but Thinkway Toys also came out with this plastic minifigure line of minis, which at the time were the main minis for cars that you could get. The Mini Racers hadn't really taken off, um, but it's a kind of a complicated story, I suppose. But welcome back to a new episode of Trunk Talk. So today we are talking about the Thinkway Toys plastic minis. So I'll give you a bit of the lore breakdown in case you aren't familiar with them. Basically, May 1st, 2017, all companies are releasing their Cars 3 product. That is the date everyone was putting their stuff out except the Disney Store. Disney Store had their stuff out, I think, like a week before, but everyone else was May 1st. And that included these plastic minis by Thinkway Toys. Now, they also had to compete against Mattel because Mattel came out with their Mini Racers line. Now, the differences are quite substantial, I'd say, because the Mini Racers were metal. They were metal die casts, and they had no gimmicks. Mattel had previously done stuff like the Micro Drifters and the Mini Adventures. But the thing with those lines was the Mini Adventures were just all plastic, and they never really got too varied with what characters they released. And then the Micro Drifters came out, which had a lot more character variety, but they were still plastic, and they had that like metal ball underneath so that they could like drift and spin. It was a gimmick. So they had never done like just straight up miniature versions of Cars characters as diecasts with no gimmicks before, until the Mini Racers line in 2017. Now, the Mini Racers line in 2017 wasn't really anything too substantial. Pretty much all they did was release the common characters, especially on May 1st. I think the May 1st wave was like, I don't know, it was like McQueen, Jackson Storm, Mater, Doc, like the basic characters. And then they got a little bit crazier towards the end of the year. They did like Fabulous McQueen and Florida Ramon, and they did RV as well. That was a notable one. But they didn't have too much available. It wasn't the Mini Racers line we know today. It was still in its infancy in 2017. Which is why the Thinkway Toys minis were actually a lot more interesting, at least to me, because they had a much more exciting character lineup, which I'll talk about in a minute. But there was a catch. So the Mini Racers were the ones that people actually wanted because they were metal and made by Mattel. But they were pretty much only sold in the United States. I don't think they actually made their way over to Canada in 2017. And I think they actually did have them in the UK as well, but Canada I don't think had them. But the Thinkway Toys minis were sold in Canada. You get them at Toys R Us. Movie theaters actually had them, because I remember I went and saw Cars 3 and got one of these at the movies. But yeah, the Mini Racers were pretty hard to come by, whereas the Thinkway Toys minis were pretty accessible. Those were the ones that were available. But the other catch was they were much more expensive. The Mini Racers in the US, I think, retailed for $3 for one blind bag. Whereas here, the blind bags, I think, were closer to like maybe like $4.50 or something like that. It wasn't cheap compared to the minis, but they were the only minis you could get over here in Canada, basically. Now, like I said, the Mini Racers were die-cast, whereas the Thinkway Toys ones were plastic, which obviously, them being only plastic for the price they were at, compared to the Mini Racers line, which was cheaper and they were all die-cast, it's pretty clear to see which one was the more popular one. But I did end up getting a few of the Thinkway Toys minis, because like I said, that was all that was available here in Canada. So I'm going to briefly go over the lineup. What I think is hilarious is they had the audacity to say Series 1 on this pamphlet here. They put this pamphlet in all the blind bags, and they say Series 1. Now, I actually emailed Thinkway Toys, believe it or not, in 2017, asking when Series 2 was going to drop. And then they actually responded and just bluntly told me there were no plans to make a Series 2, which was accurate because there was no Series 2. They only had these, what's this, 5, 10, 15, 19 blind box singles, and they did like a little 8-pack. But that was it. These were the only characters that Thinkway Toys did. So, I just think it's hilarious that they put Series 1, but they didn't end up making more. Maybe they intended to do more. I don't know. I don't really know what happened there, but yeah, it was crazy. And I just remembered they also had, oh, what were they called? I don't want to say they weren't called like Squinkies because that was Cars 2. Like the Ushis maybe? There was another form of miniature Cars characters. I can't think of what they are. But those got like multiple waves as well, but they were like they weren't even on the same level as the mini racers or the Thinkway Toys minis because I think they were just like they were little squishy things, and I want to say you could put them on pencils. I thought they were like little pencil toppers. I have no idea. I'll look it up and throw a picture up on screen because I cannot remember. But yeah, there was another miniature brand at the time that got more than one wave, unlike Thinkway Toys. So yeah, this was kind of a little sad thing for Thinkway here. They just came out with one wave and then dipped. So the lineup was pretty notable at the time because the Mini Racers line was pretty much just doing the basic characters. You had your townies and a few racers. Here though, they had Bobby Swift, which Mattel did not do until late 2018. And then, Dinoco Cruz, McQueen, Jackson Storm. Okay, those are pretty basic. Smokey, Natalie Certain, same deal. But then you get into Chick Hicks and Shannon Spokes. The Chick Hicks is really cool because it's the Cars 3 version and it has a headset. Obviously, the headset is not accurate. He doesn't have a headset, but it is the Cars 3 Chick Hicks, which they've never done in Mini Racers form. I believe it's only been, or have they? I don't remember now. They've only done one or the other. I'm pretty sure they've only done the Cars 1 chick. I think. But yeah. I think having the chick with the headset at all in its mini form was kind of cool. And then they had Shannon Spokes, which Mattel, at the time I'm recording this, in June 2023, Mattel has not made a Shannon Spokes mini racer. So that was one that I really, really wanted. Especially because trying to get the 155 diecast of that was like impossible because it was a United States exclusive to Target in a 5 or Walmart in a 5-pack. So had no shot of getting the diecast, so I wanted the mini. Never got the mini. Louise Nash, Junior Moon. We still don't have a regular Junior Moon mini. We have a Heyday and a Hot Rod one, but we never got the regular one, so that's still an interesting one. RV, the Misfitter's pretty interesting, which I'll go over in a minute. At the time, Mattel had not done theirs, and they wouldn't for another 2 years, I believe. And then Dr. Damage, Mater, Luigi, Sally, Sheriff, all basic ones that I believe they did cover in that first year for Mattel. But Guido, we still don't have a Mini Racers Guido. We have a plastic Mini Guido in one of the on-the-go tubes, but we never got a regular Guido. A metal rolling one in the minis line. So again, another point for Thinkway. And lastly, Intro Ramon, which was another one I really wanted. Mattel did do that one as a mini racer in early 2018, which pretty much just leaves Chick with headset, Shannon Spokes, regular Junior Moon, and Guido for Thinkway exclusives. But yeah, that's the lineup. Honestly, in my opinion, pretty good because you get a few racers, you get a few townies, and you get some more interesting characters like the Heyday Racers and the Thunder Hollow Gang and Chick and Shannon, which I think is really cool. So I'll do a few quick comparisons and showcase the ones I have. So Thinkway is going to be on the left and the Metal Mini Racer will be on the right. Here's Cars 3 Lightning McQueen. Now since these are plastic and they don't move in any capacity, they got a little bit creative and they give them like little poses, which I think is pretty cool. Now, obviously, these are going to be much, much less detailed compared to the Mattel ones. Like, McQueen doesn't even have contingency sponsors here. And lacks some of those back decals. I'm going to zoom in a bit here, actually. Here we go. So yeah, these are very cheaply made, but they weren't cheap to buy compared to the mini racers. Up next is Luigi. Now, The mini racers Luigi is much, much smaller compared to this Thinkway one. But I actually kind of like that. I think it's really funny how big he is. Like he's taller than McQueen. Like Thinkway, what were you doing? He's bigger than McQueen. That is crazy. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's pretty fun. I like the expression better on the Thinkway version, to be honest, and the dynamic pose is pretty cool. Up next, I've got Dr. Damage here. Super derpy expression on the Thinkway release, which is this one. Lacks any sort of hood or roof decals, which is pretty bad in my opinion. And he lacks a lot of the like texture that this metal one has. So yeah, that's not really a great one in my opinion. I have a Natalie Certain one, but I don't have the Mini Racer version. I think the Mini Racer one is better, but maybe my opinion will change over time. Yeah, no license plate, no... Oh, she does have tail lights, never mind. She just doesn't have a license plate. It's like sliding out of my hand here. Then we have Jackson Storm. So the Mattel one is actually taller, but the Thinkway one is a bit wider, it looks like. Yeah, like I said, these do not roll at all. There was like... When the mini racers were right there, I don't know why people would want to buy the Thinkway ones unless, like me, there was no alternative. Yeah. Not a huge fan of Jackson. I just want to see... Okay, I thought for a second Jackson didn't have the 2.0 and it just said 20, like he was missing the decimal, but no, he does say 2.0. Also, you can see the blue accents on the metal one much better than on the plastic one. And then lastly, probably one of my favorite Thinkway ones was Miss Fritter. Because not only is she just absolutely massive, here's her next to McQueen and Luigi. So if you thought Luigi was big, Miss Fritter's even bigger here. But they also gave her like flames coming out of the pipes, or the tail pipes, horns, whatever, here, which none of the Mattel ones have ever done. Which I think is pretty crazy. Well, obviously, I like the Mattel one better. It's just so much more detailed. But they actually did include some of the hanging license plates on the plastic one. But yeah, I don't know. It just looks like a big block of yellow plastic, which kind of sucks. I have actually reviewed the plastic McQueen and Miss Fritter in more detail way back in 2017. That video is awful. I hate how that video turned out. The quality is just abysmal. So I'm kind of redoing it, but not really, because I'm kind of just talking about the line as a whole and showing the ones I have, whereas before I was just reviewing 2 of them. So yeah, that's how they compare to the metal versions. In my opinion, these aren't that great, but, you know, for little plastic toys, they're fine. But again, these were not cheap, and when the mini racers were right there, they were better quality, better, what's a good word? Better quality, better price. Like, there was no reason to buy these over the Mattel ones. But yeah, all in all, I think I like the ones I have. I don't think I'm ever going to try and buy more. Because like I said, they don't sell these in stores anymore. They stopped making them after this first wave. And trying to order them online, I imagine they either just aren't online at all or probably aren't cheap, because I don't think these were very... Well, I guess if they weren't popular, then maybe they'd be cheap. But I also have to try and find the specific ones I want, like Intro Ramon or Shannon Spokes or Chick with Headset, which probably would be difficult. Yeah, I don't know. I like them. They're fun little display pieces, I guess, but I don't think I would ever get more unless I could somehow find like Chick or Shannon or anything like that. But yeah, that's it for this trunk talk. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the Thinkway Toys plastic minis line. And what's a good follow-up question to that? Do you wish they made a series 2? Do you think this line should have continued? I don't know. I'm kind of curious to see what they would have done had they gotten to a series 2. I don't think it would have been anything too crazy, but I don't know. It's kind of interesting to think about. But yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on this line, and yeah, stay tuned for more videos coming very soon. I will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.